So on my class is not live. No internet. Okay. I thought it was live. That's why. Okay, fair enough. So what we'll be discussing then? Due process and procedure established by is understood by all of you. Okay. And which were the cases? Menka Gandhi and A.K. Gopalan case. Thank you. The Menka Gandhi and A.K. Gopalan case. A.K. Gopalan was in 1950, Menka Gandhi was in 1978. And the judiciary reinterpreted procedure established by law and got inspired by the British doctrine of due process of law, where they don't not only check how the law, whether the law has been made following the procedure, they also go checking the intent behind that law. Correct? All of you are masked. Good. No, fair enough. Better late than Mr. Late. Right? Okay. We don't have an issue. Anyone having that book? I'll just quote the theoretical part from there. So, Article 12, we have understood what comprises of state. Okay. Why BCCI is not a state, why it is a public authority as the judgment given by the Supreme Court of India, and what actually entails, what are the components of state, what can manifest itself. Justice Bhagwati, P.N. Bhagwati gave a 5-point criteria about it, we have seen that. Article 13, we have already seen what is the process of judicial review, right, and what all judiciary can review, and if it's in contravention of fundamental rights, judiciary in all its wisdom can well scrap it down, right. These are the things that we have seen. Now starting with Article 14, right to equality. The first thing before Article 14 we just saw this, what was that? Due process and procedure established. Now there are other things, what is equal protection of law and other things we will see, and we will also discuss CAA. Right to equality. So if the net comes, will we go live? Okay, net is not there, right? Right to equality, equality before law and equal protection of law. Equality before law and equal protection of law. Article 14 says, state shall not deny, just seeing if where it is, state shall not deny any person equality before law. Any person equality before the law or equal protection of law within the territory of India. Or equal protection of law within the territory of India. This is for everyone, including citizens, foreigners, everyone. Within brackets you write for everyone, citizens, foreigners, everyone. And here you have written, state shall not deny to any person. Person is a legal entity. It can be a corporation. Anyone who can be a judiciary in the eyes of law, whoever can, it can be corporations, it can be registered society, it can be companies, it can be individuals. They have legal status in the eye of law. Okay, got it? Article 13. How? What do you mean by for everyone? Judiciary is interpreting the laws made by the legislature.
Means can it also interpret the foreign, like any laws made by in the foreign companies or a foreign bank
Foreign companies where?
in India?
How would foreign companies make law in India?
If it's an institution, then it makes laws within the institution. So can it interpret within the institution?
Every company that functions in India has to abide by the Indian laws. Any company, whether Indian or a foreign company, working in India, operating in India, has to abide by the Indian laws. There is no second question about it. Whatever their functions are, whatever their laws within the organization are, have to be in conformance. It cannot violate anything at all. Now, what is this concept? Write it. Equality before law. Equality before law is of British origin. Equality before law is of British origin, while the equal protection of law is of American origin. Equality before law says number 1, absence of any special privilege in favor of any person Second, all people will be subjected to the ordinary law of land, the ordinary law of the land. Third, no person is above the law. Okay, this is what you mean by equality before law. Second, equal protection of law. What do you mean by that? Equal protection of law. No, right first. Equality of treatment under equal circumstances. Equality of treatment under equal circumstances. Second, similar application of the same laws to all persons who are similarly situated. Third, like should be treated alike without any discrimination. What does this line mean? Like should be treated alike without any discrimination. मतलब
Equality of equals. Equality of equals.
elaborate.
In the case of civil law, Hindu should be treated based on Hindu civil laws, and in case of Muslim.
No.
There shouldn't be any partial
On the basis of
regarding the anything, especially if it comes
See, this is the reason behind reservation. Like should be treated alike. Okay, that you need to be similarly situated. So if you are not similarly situated, state will take steps to bring you at the same level. Got it? Now write this. Yes, just treated alike without, like should be treated alike without any discrimination. Supreme Court held that where equals and unequals are treated differently, Article 14 does not apply. Article 14 does not apply. It forbids class legislation. Write it. It forbids class legislation and permits reasonable classification of persons. Reasonable classification of persons. Objects and transactions by the law. But this classification should not be arbitrary. Rather it should be based on intelligible differential. Got it? Intelligible differential and substantial distinction. Got it? Read it, see if you understand.
What is a class legislation?
Class legislation means which not should be for a particular class.
So can this reservation system doesn't come under?
Yes, I am coming to it. First you read this. There are exceptions also, that also we'll see.
Sir, who are here equals and unequals?
I am explaining it. First, let us try to understand one more related concept. Dicey gave it. He is called the father of English law. Now, what is this A.V. Dicey's rule of law? Change the pen and write rule of law A.V. Dicey. It refers to administration of country in accordance with laws. पहले rule of kings था, there was rule of kings, so now there will be rule of laws. This is what it says, and it has three components. Number one, absence of arbitrary powers. Absence of arbitrary powers, which means you cannot be punished except for a breach of law. You have to break the law so that you will be punished, not arbitrarily. Second, equality before the law. Equality before the law. All people, rich or poor, high class, low class, educated, illiterate, everyone is equal in the eyes of law. Why is, the eyes closed of the justice? Seen that? So, why are the eyes closed? Why is there patti? So that the justice cannot see with whom the justice is being done. If it's someone close to me and I am doing the justice, I'll of course have feelings, right? So that is why justice is blind. Okay, justice is said to be blind so that it does not discriminate between people on the basis of personal bias or any kind of thing. So justice is said to be blind, irrespective of the offense, the nature of offense, the allegation, the person involved. It should be on a very fair and equitable basis. Understood? That is what means by the second. Third you write the primacy of the rights of the individual. The primacy of the rights of the individual, that is Constitution, is the source of individual rights. Now there are certain exceptions to this rule of law. It's given in your book. I'll just explain it to you. You can read that. Article 361 says that the president and the governors, they enjoy immunity, which means you cannot persecute president and the governors. If you want to persecute them, first they have to be removed from the post. And removing president from the post is the toughest thing in India. Toughest thing. I'll tell you how it is done later on, then you will realize. Not a single attempt has been made. There have been 3 attempts to remove judges. All 3 times it could not succeed, it failed. Okay? First was Ramaswamy. There was a motion brought in the parliament, the Congress party abstained. So Congress abstaining, Congress अभी वाली कांग्रेस नहीं थी 40-50 सीट वाली, 300-400 वो सीट वाली कांग्रेस थी. तो when Congress party abstained, the motion could not be passed. Second time 2010, Justice Soumitra Sen, Calcutta High Court, Sitaram Yechuri, Communist Party parliamentarian, was the one who brought the motion in Rajya Sabha. Corruption cases were against him, and the marshals, it was a very historic movement with the marshals of Rajya Sabha were almost bringing Justice Soumitra Sen in the house. He resigned. So when he resigned, it means he accepted, there was no need to move the motion. Third time, The latest one, you don't know Justice? Who was the last Chief Justice of India? Before him? Deepak Mishra. Mishra or Thakur, I forgot. No, it was against Mishra or Gagoi, I forgot. It was against Deepak Mishra. Yes, please someone check. It was removal motion was brought against Deepak Mishra. Just right. Congress brings removal motion against Justice Mishra. Was it the case? If my memory serves me right, because Congress was very angry with both these judges. Deepak Mishra, right? What were we talking here then? It was brought against Deepak Mishra, and Rajya Sabha presiding officer refused to accept it, so it could not pass. Okay, so these were the things, and none ever in Indian history impeachment has been brought against the President of India, neither it will. Who will touch the president, right? And why will one touch the president? What has he done? He gets everything for doing nothing, right? And don't write these things, okay? And actually that's the case. And one more thing, you cannot prosecute people who are governors who are sitting on the president post, and they are not answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the duties of their office. There cannot be a criminal procedure against governor or president, and no civil proceeding for any personal act that they have done before or after they have entered upon the office until the expiration of 2 months next after. So first, what will happen if there is a civil proceeding? First, a notice will be served. After 2 months of this notice, सिविल प्रोसीडिंग कैन स्टार्ट. पोस्ट से हटने के बाद क्रिमिनल तो होगा ही नहीं. क्रिमिनल प्रोसीडिंग कैन नॉट स्टार्ट व्हेन दे आर इन ऑफिस. ओके, एंड anything a parliamentarian or an legislator, assembly member, an MLA says in the house, they have what is called parliamentary immunity, privilege. Okay, no person shall be liable to any civil or criminal proceeding in any court in respect of, or no member of parliament shall be liable to any proceeding in any court in respect of anything said or any vote given by him in the parliament or any committee. It applies to parliament, it applies to state assemblies. That is why very often the Chief Minister of Delhi used to say many things inside the house assembly. Okay, so anything. The moment he says these things outside the assembly, there will be a legal suit. Arvind Kejriwal ji apologized in written and verbally to late Arun Jaitley and Mr. Nitin Gadkari, because he said these gentlemen sent notices that either you apologize or prove what you have said. He could not prove it. He had to apologize. First Jaitley, then Nitin Gadkari. Okay. It was said that Babar wrote Babarnama, Kejriwal will write Maafinama. Now, if you say these things inside the house, you cannot attract any kind of legal provisions. No one can sue you. You have the privilege. इसलिए प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में नहीं बोलना, अंदर बोलो। प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में बोलोगे तुरंत नोटिस आएगा। और क्रिमिनल डिफेमेशन का केस अगर बनता है तो बहुत स्ट्रांग होता है। जस्ट दैट द पॉलिटिशियंस आर वेरी लार्ज हार्टेड, दे डू नॉट परसू, द अदर पर्सन apologizes and they are readily okay. Many times it has happened, many times. Can a privilege motion be brought against me and you in the house? Any idea? If you say that all politicians are dash dash dash, can there be a privilege motion against you? Even the state assemblies can. Orissa assembly did against a person called Abhijit Iyer Mitra. For I guess 100 days he was in jail. Naveen Patnaik government brought it in Orissa assembly. He said something that were derogatory to the Udiyas and Bengalis. In Konark temple, he said the things, he made a video actually, and then he has to serve there, and when big leaders intervened, then he was granted, and they were like that, why indulge into these things? Okay, better be a little better articulation is expected. Why will you say anything that would hurt sentiments of people? And you are targeting, you can do comedy the way you want, but there is a restriction, right? This idiot Kunal Kamra, what a shit, right? I pity people who laugh on his jokes, or maybe I have a better sense of humor. So he is directly going against the Chief Justice of India, not once but twice. Should be put in jail for good 6 months rigorous imprisonment. He will realize what law is. You cannot treat courts like jokes. Okay, if you have a difference, there is a manner in which the difference has to express itself. The case of Prashant Bhushan again, it was very sad when judiciary said 1 rupee fine. Judiciary should have kind of judges again, the same fraternity people, they have met millions of times, they know each other very well, so they don't want to pursue these cases. Otherwise it was a very fit case. If this, forget the magnitude of the fine, 1 rupee, the very fact that the person paid 1 rupee means that he accepted he was at fault. Just go to jail, say I will not pay the fine, right? So again this we will see the contempt of court cases. Now talking about these things, you say this in house, you cannot discuss the conduct of a judge in the house. This is also a rule, unless the removal motion is brought. Supreme Court and High Court judges are removed through a special procedure, which I will tell you later on. Only the Parliament of India can do this, and unless the Parliament does that, the conduct of any High Court or Supreme Court judge cannot be discussed inside the Parliament. The law prohibits that. Okay. Now what are the other exceptions? (31C), but we have not seen 31C as in now, so that we will leave for now. 31C comes, Article 14 goes. But what is 31C, that we will see later on, after we are done with everything. Until Article 30 you have to wait for this. Again, foreign diplomats are granted what is called diplomatic immunity. Any diplomat, the office of a diplomat is a sovereign territory. Do you know this? All of you know that? So whatever mistake happens, like this in Saudi embassy, a diplomat molested and raped a Nepali girl. She was the kind of domestic help of that embassy, a Nepali girl, and she was raped by a Saudi diplomat. The case came, all India could do was to deport. Now Saudis will take care of their diplomat, but you cannot touch a diplomat. There is a law that every country agrees on. You cannot touch a diplomat, you cannot do anything to him unless you are USA. When she was supposed to she had some domestic help she took from India, like all diplomats do. But then you are supposed to pay them as per the American law. Now, if you hire a domestic help, everyone who goes abroad learns to cook. Talk to anyone who has been abroad, because you cannot eat outside all the time. It's very expensive. If you keep a cook, you have to go for a proper contract and remuneration, whether you like or not, you have to pay. That's a very expensive affair. So everyone becomes kind of Atmanirbhar. All those people who can't cook, खाने के नाम पे मैगी बनाते हैं और हॉबी में लिख देते हैं कुकिंग. Maggie was banned and then it was relaunched. I was like, now you can update your resume to cooking also, right? So they learn how to cook, right? So she took domestic help, and the remuneration that she was giving was not up to the standards of the USA. She was arrested. Cavity search. You know what is cavity search? You are stripped naked. And this is what happened to the diplomat. Later on, Americans apologized. But this is how Americans violate the law. And India registered a protest actually, that she is a diplomat, how can you do all these things? So Americans said, okay, we are sorry, but we have already done. Arrest everyone, kind of respects, there is this line that one should not cross with the diplomats. They have this sovereign immunity, the diplomatic immunity they have. The laws of the land do not operate on them, you can say. So that's why all these diplomats, their offices are a hotspot of, espionage and everything. Everywhere it happens. Indians also do that. Okay, it's not like every country is aware of it. Just that you don't do major disruptions. Okay, you collect your data, you do what you want to within the limits. The moment, because our intelligence also knows these things. Okay, they are doing, let them. Do not try to act too smart. Okay. So these are the exceptions to Article 14. Okay. Any questions here? Now, one thing that I want to discuss with all of you is the latest case of, again the net is not working here, the CAA. Okay, the case of CAA. How many of you have read anything about CAA? Anything? Nothing. It was already? Yes, I told you it was in the Congress resolution way back in 40s. So the bill was passed. The Citizenship Amendment Act. The bill turned into the act. Now, what this bill does? It seeks to give citizenship to and how many communities? 6 communities, right? From 3 countries. So these are the these are the countries, right? So what was the issue? Citizenship comes where? Citizenship is actually a part of part 2 of the Indian Constitution. Part 2 deals with citizenship. And when this bill was about to be tabled, there is this MP called Derek O'Brien, no brain, from TMC. He wrote on Facebook that citizenship is a fundamental right, not something that BJP politicians can do away with. I said, come on, part 2, not fundamental right. Read Lakshmikant at least, you are an MP. Right? Why peddling lies publicly? Since when citizenship becomes fundamental right? Either you are doing it deliberately or you are ignorant. Citizenship is not a fundamental right. It is an ordinary right under part 2. Fundamental rights are under part 3. Right? And who will regulate citizenship? The Parliament of India will. Right? So they said that these 3 countries, now see, all these 3 countries are Islamic theologies, which means Sharia is the law. Sharia is the law. Right? Heard about Charlie Hebdo? Paris? French magazine. Now French have gone full throttle, right? Yes, we are doing come what may, right? The French government buildings were displaying the Charlie Hebdo cartoons. Macron has gone, suddenly it happened. He was hailed as a big liberal accommodative, and when the attack happened, the teacher was killed, right, by one of the students for showing Charlie Hebdo cartoon in class. So now France has become very intolerant, right? Earlier they were tolerant people. So even before this, in 2014, attack happened on the office of Charlie Hebdo. Charlie Hebdo are 100-year-old, I guess 150-year-old satirical magazines. They publish cartoons, they write articles which are satirical and at times offensive. So when you are offended, at best what you can do is to file a case, do a counter offense, right? You also write something, you also publish something. And they published cartoons of Prophet Muhammad of Islam. Islamic State attacked, killed everyone there in the office in 2015, which means if you publish anything regarding Prophet, Islamic State will attack you in a country like France. If you publish anything against the Prophet of Islam in these 3 countries, the law will kill you. You will be killed constitutionally. So Islamic State at best can be accused of not kind of respecting the borders, right? They punish homosexuals, they also punish homosexuals, right? So you see, this is the difference, that these are Islamic theological state where Sharia is the law. One word against, and blasphemy law. You know about blasphemy law? Have you heard about Salman Taseer? I am sure you have not. Salman Taseer was the governor of one of the province, I guess Balochistan or Punjab. I am unable to recall the name. And there was this case where a Christian woman was accused of blasphemy, that she has said dirty things about Prophet and Allah. Phasi. Salman Taseer said, the governor of Pakistan, there are 4 provinces. I am not counting Kashmir as their province. So he was of Punjab, I guess, or Balochistan. Again, I forgot. Punjab probably. Salman Taseer. In 2010, he said that the blasphemy law in Pakistan is being used against the non-Muslims to target them and to settle personal enmity. Like there is a Hindu, there is a Sikh, there is a Christian, a Muslim will come and say, give your property, this house belongs to me. Said, why would I give you? Then say, oh, he has done blasphemy. And he will be punished, you take over what you want. This is what he said. That we need to rethink about this blasphemy law. His bodyguard Mumtaz Qadri shot him dead. 18 bullets were pumped into his body. He died. Mumtaz Qadri was taken to courts. The lawyers and the policemen showered flowers on him. 2010-11, this episode happened. Salman Taseer was the governor in Punjab. What about the marginalized non-Muslims? How did the population dip from 25% to 3% Hindus today there? Systematically targeted, forceful convergence. Okay? And it has happened in Afghanistan also. The last Sikh family has came here. You know this. It happened, it came into newspapers, I guess, last month. Every newspaper covered it. Same thing in Bangladesh. Now, how it happened after Mujibur Rahman, all you will study in your post-independent consolidation, when Bangladesh became an Islamic state. Okay. What the Supreme Court of Bangladesh said and what the parliament said and what the army said. And how Mujibur Rahman was sidelined. How Jamaat-e-Islami came. Okay, heard about this fellow, Begum Khalida Jia? Very, very dangerous woman. Current one, Sheikh Hasina, is far, far better. She is a friend of India. Begum is horrible. Female version of all these terrorists. She is. And Jamaat, again, it's more of a terrorist organization kind of thing. So it happened in these 3 countries, these people were targeted. India said those who have come to India until 2014, they will get citizenship. Now you will study in part 2 of the constitution what are the laws that govern citizenship. Just sanguine, just soli, there are certain principles, by descent, by birth, by application. Many 4 to 5 processes are there, all well explained in this book. I'll do that. But this law said that the persecuted people who have come to India until December 2014, they have been living into India, India will grant them citizenship. Okay. Now 2 communities are forbidden, Muslims and Jews. Jews do not live in Islamic countries, especially these 3 countries. Muslims and Jews have this enmity against each other. Yeah, Israel is the greatest sin. Even they have this favorite line, all this Al Jazeera and all these Islamic, who toe the Islamic line, they say, they have this favorite word, Mossad, CIA, raw conspiracy. Mossad is the Israelis, secret CIA is the American, raw is ours. It feels good when they compare RAW with the likes of Mossad and CIA. I wish they were true, that RAW was as dangerous as Mossad could be or CIA could be. So all these, they toe this line. Jews are not there, Muslims have not been there. So there was an uproar against this law in India. And a propaganda came that it's a law which will deprive Muslims from their citizenship. इंडिया में जो मुसलमान हैं उनसे सिटीजनशिप छीन ली जाएगी. द प्राइम मिनिस्टर रिपीटेडली सेड ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. द होम मिनिस्टर रिपीटेडली सेड, मेनी मिनिस्टर्स रिपीटेडली सेड दैट ये उनके वर्ड्स मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि ये सिटीजनशिप देने का लॉ है, लेने का लॉ है ही नहीं. इट डज नॉट अफेक्ट एनी इंडियन. It talks about few individuals who came from these countries until December 2014. They are already in India. This law will give citizenship to these people. Okay. Now, some people said that it is violative of what we have just discussed, Article 14. Right. Now, let us try to examine. Write it. The Citizenship Act 1955. You understood the genesis? The Citizenship Act 1955 specifies that citizenship can be acquired in India through 5 processes. By birth, right, point wise, by birth. Now I'll take 2 hours to explain this. I'm not doing it right now. Second, by descent, DESCENT. Third, through registration. Fourth, by naturalization. Fourth, naturalization. Fifth, incorporation of territory into India. Give me an example. Futuristic examples. POK. Don't write, huh? So, of territory into India. However, illegal migrants cannot become Indian citizens. Illegal migrants cannot become Indian citizens. An illegal migrant is one who enters the country without valid documents. You come without a passport, without a visa. Same GMCH. GM, it is at Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. Everyone is putting their best effort, right? All the parties. There is TSR, there is MIM, then there is BJP. These 3, I guess. TSR and who? TSR, TRS, MIM and BJP. These 3 are men? Or there is a 4th one also? Which Congress? YSR? Congress? Indian National Congress. Do they have any kind of backing here? They have. Yeah, it's a municipal election. And how many seats are being contested? 100 odd. पूरा ढोल बतासा लेके कैंपेनिंग हो रही है. This is CPI is also here. TDP is also here. शिवसेना है. नीतीश कुमार. Akalis. Okay, right. What you wrote? Without or comes with valid document or comes with valid documents but stays in India. Document was valid for a year, you stay beyond 1 year, but stays in India more than the document permits. More than the document permits. Okay, so you understood the law. now I told you there are 5 methods. Now we will take 2 hours to explain these 5 methods. We'll understand this, not in this class. I'll teach their separately citizenship. It's in part 2. I have directly come to part 3. I have not even discussed article 1 to 5. India, that is Bharat, article 1, and what is article 2 and 3. I'll discuss that separately. I have it in mind. I have come to part 3 because that is what your optional syllabus says. However, for your polity general studies, the first 2 parts are equally important, and there is no way that we are going to ignore it. Now, 5 methods, and then anyone not following those 5 methods will be treated as an illegal migrant, an intruder kind of thing. Right? There was a famous joke that Bangladesh does not have a swimming high jump team because all those who can swim and jump have already crossed the borders. Okay, so there are many illegal Bangladeshis in India. There are Rohingyas in your city. Do you know this? In Delhi. So what does the law say? First, you cannot come without the valid documents, and you cannot overstay beyond the time limit which your valid document permits, else you will be deported. Now something happened, change the para. In 2015 and 16, the Indian government specified, or like exempted, Indian government exempted certain groups of illegal migrants. Indian government exempted certain groups of illegal migrants from the provisions of Foreigners Act 1946, Foreigners Act 1946 and the Passport Entry into India Act 1920. Passport Entry into India Act, entry into India you put in bracket 1920. Now these are the laws, 2 laws, the Passport Act 1920 and the Foreigners Act 1946, through which illegal migrants are governed. In 1516 the government of India said they are exempting certain groups from these 2 laws. Understood? Any question till here? You write. They were Hindu, write down the 6 communities and the 3 countries. These 6 communities and these 3 countries who reached India on or before 31st of December 2014. Okay? All of you understood? What does that mean? That these particular categories of people, illegal migrants, will not be deported or jailed. These particular group of people will not be deported or jailed for being in India without valid documents. Okay? Understood, all of you? The Citizenship Amendment Bill 2016 was introduced in Parliament Citizenship Amendment Bill 2016 was introduced in Parliament to amend the Citizenship Act 1955. The 5 conditions: birth, descent, registration. This is governed by Citizenship Act 1955. Yes, Citizenship Amendment Bill 2016 was introduced in Parliament to amend the Citizenship Act 1955 so that these people could be made eligible for citizenship of India. For the citizenship of India. Okay. Got it? Those who have entered India before, on or before, belonging to these communities from these three countries. This bill lapsed. This bill lapsed with the dissolution of 16th Lok Sabha. Okay. Lok Sabha was dissolved, elections happened, so the bill lapsed. Whenever a Lok Sabha is dissolved, any bill pending in Lok Sabha will lapse. Okay, there are certain conditions if the date has been notified, but these cases were not here. So this bill lapsed. The new Lok Sabha came and the government returned. They reintroduced this bill. Write it. The Citizenship Amendment Bill 2019. The Citizenship Amendment Bill 2019 was introduced in Lok Sabha in December 2019. It amends the Citizenship Act 1955. It amends the Citizenship Act 1955 and grants citizenship to these 6 communities coming from these 3 countries. Citizenship to these 6 communities coming from these 3 countries who entered India when on or before 31st December 2014. Okay, understood all of you? Exceptions. Change the pen and write exceptions. This provision does not apply to 2 categories. Number 1, states protected by the inner line. State protected by inner line permit. This is a special permit. This is a special permit that citizens from other parts of India require. Citizens from other parts of India require to enter a state protected by ILP, inner line permit. You go to Arunachal, you need an ILP. You go to Nagaland, I guess also. Nagaland, Arunachal, Nagaland, Mizoram and Manipur. What is common between these 4 states?
During the British time, there was
Do they share border with a country?
China and Bangladesh.
There are certain reasons why ILP has begun. So if me and you want to go there, we need to have the ILP. Understood all of you? So you cannot, these refugees cannot go to these 4 states unless you get the ILP. It relates to the administration of states of Assam, Mizoram, Meghalaya and Tripura. You can remember it this way: Tame mi. Okay. So these two are the kind of what? Exceptions. Now, argument against. The main criticism of the bill is that it targets Muslims and is violative of Article 14 . It's violative of Article 14 of the Constitution, which is right to equality, and it goes against secularism. How many points? Violative of 14, against secularism, against Muslims. Right? Fourth point, there are other refugees in India like Sri Lankan Tamils and Hindu Rohingyas from Myanmar who are not covered by this act. How many points? Fifth, you write. It is very difficult to differentiate. See, in these countries, these 6 communities are persecuted. So it is very difficult to differentiate between an illegal migrant and a persecuted migrant. Okay? Differentiate between illegal migrants and those who are persecuted. Understood? Persecuted who are targeted because of their religion. So you cannot say whether the person who has come here, he was really targeted or he has come here just for the sake of it for some better lifestyle. Right? So if he is not persecuted, he is an illegal immigrant. So how do you know that? Okay? This point seems to be valid. Now what was the argument given by the government of India? Right? Argument in favor. पहला कि इट इज अगेंस्ट मुस्लिम, तो उसको क्या काउंटर किया? आर्गुमेंट इन फेवर. गवर्नमेंट said that these 3 countries are Islamic states. So there cannot be religious persecution of Muslims in these countries. These are Islamic states. How can you say that Muslims are being persecuted? So then they were said that yes, Shias and Sunnis are fighting, Ahmadiyas are fighting. So government said this is a sectarian fight. They are not being killed for being Muslims. They are being killed for not being right type of Muslims. Right? They are not being killed for being non-Muslims, but for being not the right type of Muslims as per each other. Sunni would say I am the right, Shia would say I am the right, Ahmadiyya says I am the right. Okay, so how do government interfere in this Islamic sectarian fight? And if still a even if a Muslim is being persecuted, he wants to come, there is a process, right? That government also assured that they will examine the application of other communities from a case to case basis.
They will examine.
What you wrote? The application from other communities from a case to case basis, which means other than these 6 communities. Understood, all of you? Next point in favor. This bill will be a boon. This bill will be a boon to the victims of partition. The constitution of these 3 countries endorses Islam as the official religion. है ना भाई, पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, अफगानिस्तान, these 3 are the Islamic states. ये इस्लामिक स्टेट नहीं होते तो CAA की आवश्यकता ही नहीं पड़ती. There was no need for CAA if these 3 were not Islamic states. It is the apartheid that these 3 Islamic countries have created in their own country. That is why India has brought CAA. What you wrote? Complete sentence.
These 3 countries endorse as Islamic.
Endorse Islam as their official religion and the empirical evidence suggests नेट आया अब क्लास ये वाला अबाउट टू गेट ओवर ऑनलाइन पीपल will again meet after few minutes after this class ends in few minutes. There will be a 15-minute break. कितना बज गया? Still 15 minutes are left. After 15 minutes, 11:15 to 11:30 we'll take a break. What you wrote? That non-Muslims have been systematically targeted. Who can deny this? Come on. Non-Muslims have been systematically targeted in these 3 Islamic countries. Okay. How many points? Third point, after independence, India has twice conceded that the minorities in these 3 countries minorities in these three countries are its responsibilities. Are its responsibilities. First time after the partition, and second, during the Indira Mujib Agreement 1972, Bangladesh was formed, right? Let me see if yes, the net is working now. So, two times India has said that the minorities here are our responsibilities and that we will take care of the minorities. Also, during partition, the Congress resolution sought to protect the minorities from Pakistan. And there's this parliamentary debate. Just listen to the debate, I have found it. 18th December 2003. Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, Advani was the Home Minister, and the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha in Parliament says, Mr. Advani, the minorities in Pakistan are also suffering, they have to be taken care of. And Advani says, Madam, I fully endorse that view. And Dr. Manmohan Singh said, I sincerely hope that Honorable Deputy Prime Minister will bear this in mind in charting out the future course of action with regards to citizenship. After the partition of country, the minorities in countries like Bangladesh have faced persecution, and it is our moral obligation that if circumstances force people, these unfortunate people, to seek refuge in our country, our approach to granting citizenship to these unfortunate people should be more liberal. This is what Dr. Manmohan Singh said in Parliament on 18th of December 2003. This was the official Congress party stand. Now in 49 they said something, in 47 they said something, in 2003 they said something, in 2019 they are saying the other thing. Right? So it is more than obvious that this is more of a political gimmick rather than going into the merit of the argument. Right? Every time it has the same bearing. So saying that this is against Article 14, Article 14 itself says likes will be treated alike. Like, who are the likes here? Is the status of non-Muslim in these three Islamic countries same as that of Muslims? Any rational, sane and whose eyes and ears are open, the person will not say yes to this question unless there is some vested interest. Unless someone is seeing it through some colored lens. It's an empirical evidence. 25% Hindus today, 3%. Same thing happens in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is a country for which we have given our blood. The Indians fought for Bangladesh, the liberation war. You know, the Bangladeshis lifted Indian soldiers on their shoulders and carried them. Then again the army comes, Mujib is shunted. Okay. And then it again toes the radical Islamic line. The Supreme Court of Bangladesh says the same thing. It becomes an Islamic theocratic state. It was not an Islamic theocratic state in 71 when it was born. So there has been a persecution of non-Muslims, especially Hindus and Sikhs. And it says those who have come to India on or before 31st of December 2014 will be given Indian citizenship. They are all living in India. Let us give them some dignity to live with. They will have all the rights and so on and so forth. Understood? The genesis of CA. So again, in your exam, you don't say that it violates Article 14. It has not been proved anywhere. Rabble rousing does not prove anything. If the Supreme Court says these things, then we'll see. But Supreme Court has remained not said any such thing. This matter cannot stand scrutiny in courts. This is an open shut case. Data is there, history is there, parliamentary speeches are there. 18 December 2003, the Congress is saying something. 49 Congress session is something. Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, everyone said the same thing in 46 and 49 and 47. It has happened in 71, it has happened in 47. There is this entire colony in Delhi, CR Park, the Bengali colony we call it. All those who came from Bangladesh were given refuge there. They are proper citizens of India. Okay. So this is a commitment that India had, whom you call as the founding fathers of Constitution, also did the same promise. So this shall be the stand. Do not say that it violates Article 14. Article 14 itself has an inherent feature which says that the likes will be treated as likes. Is this all right? All of you understood? Please read that once. I'll try to see the YouTube if there is a question.
So, what if they are persecuted after the due date?
Which due date?
31st?
There is a separate process for that. If they are prosecuted after 31st December 2014, there is a separate process to that. This video does not kind of goes for what you say. It's not providing citizenship to everyone every time. This is for this particular sect. Those who come after that will be taken care of separately. There are other laws for the same. This is for a particular group who already came to India, who are living in India. Are we live? नहीं है? Okay. After the break, right? Any other questions you have?
Sir, in argument against CAA, you said that Tamils and Hindu Rohingyas from Myanmar are not covered, you said. Hindu Rohingyas means they are Hindus only, right? Then why they are not included in this?
They are not, because it's believed that they are not religiously persecuted. Even the Tamils of Sri Lanka are Hindus, but they are not. See, the Sri Lankan problem is not a religious problem. The problem between Tamils and Sinhalese has nothing to do with religion. Prabhakaran, who was Prabhakaran? Wasn't he a Hindu? How does that matter to India? You know the Sri Lankan issue? There is an ethnic conflict there was an ethnic conflict going between the Sinhalese and the Tamils. 55% Sinhalese in Sri Lanka, 45% Tamils. The Tamils wanted a separate Tamil Illam, idiots. And then India went on to support LTT. We lost Rajiv Gandhi to LTT. India actually sent the peacekeeping forces. Big blunder India did. No need to do that. You support call of succession for a country. Okay, that is not, then they will do the same thing. India, favored a UN motion wherein UN will come and see if Sri Lankans have done atrocities on the Tamils. And you know what the Sri Lankan president said, that India has voted in its favor, let the resolution come for Kashmir, then we will also do the same thing. Later on, the diplomats kind of complicated the entire process so that it could not move ahead. But the political message that was given was very bad at that time. The Sri Lankan Prime Minister had to say that it is very sad to see that the foreign policies of some country are driven by their domestic politics. He was making a very sly remark to India that under the leadership of Congress, where DMK was an alliance partner, they were siding with the Tamil Illam and Tamil sentiments. Illam means country. LTT was asking for a country by breaking Sri Lanka, and maybe some parts of Tamil Nadu also they needed. Why would an average Tamil side with LTT? Right? What has it got to do with the Indian interest? In fact, it is creating vulnerabilities in this subcontinent. So, Rajiv Gandhi was killed by the LTT, you know this, suicide attack. So, if Tamils are being persecuted not for their religion, here 6 communities in these 3 countries. See, we don't have unlimited resources. धर्मशाला नहीं है कोई भी मुंह उठा के आ जाओ. अनलिमिटेड रिसोर्स होते तो सबको बोलते आ जाओ, राइट? फिर तो यमन वालों को बुला लेते. सऊदी अरेबिया 2 साल से बम मार रहा है यमन पे, राइट? बट 6 communities, 3 countries, immediate neighbors, committed earlier also they were committed promises from the India, and of course they are facing the burden of the pain of partition. It cannot cover each one and everyone. उतना रिसोर्स नहीं है इंडिया के पास. हम लोग ऐसे ही कम है क्या? 138 crore, right? And it's increasing as I am speaking. You know how many new children are born every minute in India? Something like that, I guess. See, it cannot be that everyone can come here. There are specific reasons for this bill. The religious persecution angle has been looked into. And not in isolation. Even you cannot deny partition happened on a religious basis. Okay? Understood, all of you?
So can we say that this act was also passed to strengthen India's cause for Kashmir, to show that India shares a border with Afghanistan?
No. How are you concluding this?
I mean, it has Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. So Pakistan and Bangladesh was split from India. Alright. I mean, but then why Afghanistan?
Because that is also, yes, if you say this, yes, that can be a very good argument, that India is saying that yes, we share Kashmir, Gilgit Baltistan shares in border with Afghanistan. Yes, that can be an issue. Because Afghanistan was never really a part of India, right? Even the British India sometime, only for some time, after the 4th Anglo-Afghan War, there was some truce between both the sides. Yes, this is also a ploy. And the Supreme Court has not given any adverse judgment. It's already 1 year since this bill was passed. A lot of nautanki has happened. Now the people are being, yesterday also Delhi police has issued photographs of many people that if you have an information, tell us. The problem is law is not being enforced the way it should be. Today also alleged farmers are doing some nautanki in Delhi. I mean, why only farmers from Punjab have an issue? Why not from other? Only Punjab has farmers. Bihar से ज़्यादा farmer है पंजाब के पास. यूपी से ज़्यादा है. Thing is, this agricultural bill actually, does away with all the middlemen. That's why some of them are being agitated. 100-200 people are holding Delhi to ransom. सड़क पे कैसे आके नौटंकी कर लेते हैं ये सोचो. इन्फोर्समेंट कहाँ है, लॉ कहाँ है? ये तो पाकिस्तान में ऐसा होता है. किसी कंट्री के कैपिटल में यू आर देयर एंड यू आर सिटिंग ऑन द रेलवेज पटरी दैट विल नॉट लेट द ट्रेन पास. This is a state of anarchy. Same thing happened in CAA protest. I mean, Molotov cocktails were used. You know what is Molotov cocktail? Search this word. The Palestinians used this against Israel. Call for intifada was given. You know what is intifada? Again, this is a Palestinian call. The mechanized gulels were used from the rooftop, petrol bombs. They had preparation going on for the past 2 months. What was Delhi police doing? What was intelligence bureau doing? The home ministry kahan tha Amit Shah? The burden lies Delhi police is with the home minister. And all these things. One IB person was killed. An IB officer was killed. Was his cover blown? Did people know that he is from IB? Imagine what will happen in Israel if you kill a Mossad person, or in USA if you kill a CIA, or in Russia if you kill a KGB. Or what would have happened if, for that matter, Indira Gandhi was the PM of India and you kill an IB person? Law enforcement is a serious issue with this central government. They are unable to enforce intent जो रहे. You need to enforce your laws. There cannot be a parallel government, right? And now all these issues have been, arrests have been made. Sharjil Imam, what is the name of the other idiot? Umar Khalid, they have been arrested under UAPA. You know what Sharjil Imam said? He said, sit on the trains और इतनी मवाद फैला दो, which means you just do everything. You shit, you pee on the trains so that a chicken neck is cut. You know what is chicken neck? Look at the map of India. You will come across chicken neck, the Siliguri corridor it is called. Northeast of India is connected to the rest of India through that narrow lane, the Siliguri corridor. It is called chicken neck because it looks like a chicken neck. 22 to 30 kilometers long stretch it is. That is what connects Northeast with India. Anyone who controls chicken neck can actually sever Northeast with India. This is what China wants. So when you say that you occupy chicken neck, you are actually giving credence to Chinese. So this idiot has been booked under UAPA law. 3 पैराग्राफ का एक्ट दिल्ली पुलिस ने लगाया है. The charges run into 3-4 lines. इस जन्म में नहीं छूटने वाले हैं ये लोग. Delhi police, you know what Delhi police has said? Let me repeat it. Very, very interesting lines they have used. This is what Delhi police has said. Veteran of sedition, convergence point of twin lines of pan-Islamism and ultra-left anarchism, he has come a long way from Bharat Tere Tukre Honge in 2016 to La ilaha illallah in 2020. This is Delhi police charge sheet on Sharjil Imam and this guy, Umar Khalid. And again they have filed a kind of, these are the charges, section 13, 16, 17, 18 UAPA, section 120, 109, 114, 124A, that is sedition, 147, it runs into 4-5 lines. So bail to nahi milegi. And this Amitabh Rawat, the additional session judge, actually accepted these things. That yes, there are credible evidence, send them to gallows. So only few people have been taken care of, right? So this was the entire protest regarding the CA. This is the entire rationale. In your exam, do not contradict CA because your government is not doing that. No courts in India, not even a high court, not the Supreme Court, not even a session court has given an adverse remark. We have seen the history. The Congress party in 47, 49, 72 supported it, right? In 2003, Manmohan Singh as a Rajya Sabha member supported it in parliament. I have given you the date, 20th of December 2003. So do not go against it. Yes, if the question comes critically analyzed, you might say that some analysts believe that it is against Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, and then you raise this point, it is very difficult to differentiate between a persecuted and illegal immigrant. You don't know whether the person who has come is actually a persecuted one or an illegal one. This is the drawl. And you have no mechanism to ensure that. You cannot ask Pakistan, you cannot ask Bangladesh or Afghanistan, right? That why will they say that yes, we have persecuted him? You understand the practical difficulty here? That's the only issue. And this bill addresses those who have already come to India on or before 31st of December 2014. For others, there are separate provisions. Any question anyone has?